Hello everyone and welcome to today's IIRSM East Anglia branch meeting. I'm deputising for Tony, the branch chair, who's having some technical issues today, so he's not able to join us. So I'd like to introduce Liam O'Grady from Safety Culture, and he's going to be speaking to us today about navigating the future, building a digitised risk management system that works. So over to you, Liam.
Thanks, Julie. Exciting to speak to you all today, guys, and looking forward to taking you through how navigating the future and building a digitized risk management system that works for you. To get us started, before we dive in, it's worth to take a minute to think about why we're here. So you all have an interest or an experience in the world of risk, and it's headlines like these that keep us up at night. So I think we can all agree that while these are the extreme end of the spectrum, unfortunately, they're still worryingly common. Every single example here was brought to court by the HSE in the space of a single month. Managing this risk isn't a tick box exercise. It protects and saves lives. It brings workers home to their families every single day. But as these headlines show, what we're doing now isn't working. So before we jump in, who exactly I am, and is it time to rethink this risk management? So my name is Liam, and I'm an account executive here at Safety Culture. We're a global technology company that empowers working teams to drive daily improvements across their organization. And I'm here to take you through possibilities that lie in overhauling and digitizing how we think about risk. Safety Culture is now over 10 years old. And in this time, we have served some of the largest companies on the planet, becoming the world's largest checklist app for businesses across various different industries and also across various different continents as well. So we're proud to be supporting all of these businesses to drive improvement across their quality, safety, risk, and operational processes. Does your risk management system look like this? So for many years, paper-based auditing, incident management, and reporting was dominant. What might surprise you is how common still this is. So I worked with a lot of companies, from large enterprises to smaller, medium-sized businesses also, who still use these systems. Why? Because they're familiar or because they've not had a serious incident yet. That yet is key. When your teams do have a serious incident and you're rifling through dozens or even hundreds of boxes of paper to find the correct risk assessment and other documentation, you'll discover what a headache it can be. We know that you're busy, so adding this to your admin in your day-to-day isn't beneficial for anyone. Plus, storing all of that paper isn't great for the planet or the bottom line. So God forbid you have a fire in your storage area, then you'll be really in trouble in terms of that risk that is leading from not having a system in place. If we can all agree that we want to do right by our teams, we have to do better and enabling that safe and removing the risk environment from our working in workplaces as well. So for many years, that's where digital spreadsheets, databases like Excel or SharePoint have come in. So very low storage costs, basically no chance of damage, and results can be shared digitally instantly. So we're not relying on in-person collection. However, they come with their own problems. Neither are really built for these use cases, so they take a large amount of time to set up. And when you want to make changes, that can be costly or time consuming, or in the worst case, even break the whole thing. So a live document, I've been a victim of this, changing something and then ruining the whole workflow for another member of the team. Along with this though, the skills and time required to administrate the system isn't much better. So depending on the size of your organization, this can be very time consuming and also lead to other inefficiencies as we're taking so much energy into this one workflow. Along with this, if we're all honest with each other, the user experience for managers and frontline workers is usually pretty poor also. Doesn't matter, make risk management any easier or pleasant, and something that workers want to engage with. Unfortunately, this can lead to some workers forging results, racing through audits at the end of the month or the end of a quarter to meet a timeline or a quota goal, because there's little traceability, it's hard to distinguish between the good and the bad risk management behavior. With all of this complexity, spreadsheets and databases can feel like a replacement, but not necessarily much of an improvement on what came before. So let's take it right back to the basics. What would be a great digital risk management system, and what can that do? So what exactly risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and controlling threats or risks to an organization's capital, assets, and earnings. So is a great risk management system something that can help you do that, but also as well as that quickly, efficiently, and repeatably? Once you have that in place, you can turn your people, processes, and technology into an improvement engine. What exactly is an improvement engine? Let's take a look. So don't worry, this isn't a new model or a program. It's a sequence of behaviors. We here at Safety Culture didn't create this cycle. People on today's call did, people like you. We looked at the work of thousands of teams, and the very best one sequenced these behaviors in one way or another. All the people in your organization connected in a workflow of information. By completing this cycle, you and your teams are destined to better identify gaps in your risk management, but also improve the way which you work. Digital risk management systems like Safety Culture match your teams with the technology they need to complete this loop as many times as possible. But before that, how exactly this works in practice, let's expand and jump into a real world example of this. So I want everyone on the call to meet Rolando Lewis, Tremco Roofing in the United States. He's called Ro Lewis by his friends. We're about to look at the Tremco story and what starts as a better way of meeting their compliance needs evolved into an improvement engine under Ro's guidance. So they had an old construction culture, not dissimilar to many companies here across the globe or in the UK, a culture where they carefully considered process and what actually happened on site every day wasn't always aligned, opening Tremco and their teams up to some serious risks. Their answer to this was a DTA, a daily task analysis to identify and migrate hazards of the job at hand. They tested many inspection systems over the years with little success. Pen and paper, Excel spreadsheets, and even BlackBerry devices, which fell short of the large goals which were ahead of them. They struggled to get buy-in and couldn't capture that data visibility and instant notifications which they needed. Here's how the improvement engine took the DTA from a nice to have to a total game changer. The team, firstly, are well trained by health and safety members to look out for what exactly they need to know and what's expected of them. They're dynamically guided by the DTA checklist to get their heads in the game and remind themselves of that training. Before the job even begins, they're challenged to consider their surroundings and take steps to reduce that risk. This gives them confidence to do their job to the maximum ability and, most importantly, come home safely. It used to be supervisor's job to go up on the roof, do the DTA, then make all the calls. Now it's everyone's job. If you're on a roof, you're doing a DTA. And this was their mantra for the entire organizations. As workers complete more and more DTAs, they get better at spotting what they're looking for, but also as well, they understand the value it can give to the individual to have them own it, and as well as that, ask high quality questions.
Liam,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to interrupt, but your presentation has stopped sharing.
Oh God, apologies.
No worries.
Let me just stop sharing for a second.
There we go. It's back now.
Perfect. Apologies for that.
That's okay.
So with that DTL evolving every week, the quality of the questions keep getting better and better. This is where we see the biggest cultural shifts when everyone is on board as observers. Once everyone owns it, that then things get woven into the culture. With that adaptable change leads to bigger insight and again, reducing that risk. With this in mind, and now that everyone in person on the front line has been activated as eyes and ears, that's an impressive workflow of information from the field. Not only is it better volume of data, but the data is higher quality, like it's being able to analyze and compared. No longer are the results of audits and inspections locked away in a drawer or in someone else's hard drive. Tremco's operations is now a living, breathing thing where frontline workers and managers participate equally in real time. What that allows then is Ro and his team to see exactly what's going on the front lines. In the first week of rolling this out, they said we have no ideas our guys were carrying 25-pound buckets up ladders. All of a sudden, with this volume of high quality data, Ro and his team can make informed decisions that actually relate to the experience of the frontline workers. So we're not relying on word of mouth. We see it in real-time data, which is fed back from those users on the front line in the field on a daily basis. This is a quote, I think, that sums up what we can do and what we offer to a lot of the people we work with already. It's like giving 25 years of experience to our new guys. So this is Joseph Lee, the regional manager for Tremco in the southern states of the United States. So suddenly, the quality of training and types of questions being asked are drawing on the experience of everyone out in the field. So their risk management and safety is improved collectively. So this is one of the most crucial steps to igniting the engine and all too often is overlooked. Ro and his team completed the loop with strong communication. They communicate the changes, why they're being made, and also who inspired these changes. All of a sudden, frontline workers can see where their contributions are making a difference. Again, they're not just disappearing into a black box, they're being heard and they're being implemented. You can only imagine what would improve your culture. Communication can mean different things. It could be updating your training or on your processes. It could be sending out team emails. It could be a face-to-face conversation. So don't feel constrained by the need to do it in a certain way. The important part is that you do it. So taking that step of actually communicating this to people and actioning those points. Finally, step 6, creating process and an environment that lines up these behaviors over and over again. So the more you can repeat this cycle in your organization, the more improvement you will see. It's so simple, but that's why it's so challenging to achieve. The key to reduce the barriers between each of these steps can be looked at in several different ways. The first one is time, which is so finite, and as well, how can we reduce the amount of time and admin that is taking away from that day-to-day operations? Firstly, that is the time aspect, but then most importantly as well as that, making it easier to understand. So we want our frontline workers empowered to understand what we are looking for, but also how can we improve. The next step, once everyone is empowered and we know that time is efficient, we can put this in everyone's hands. And finally, what we collect is not just a record, but a learning opportunity. So taking all that good data that we have correlated and actually having actionable insights from this, whether it be how many inspections we're doing on a certain site, how many action points are being raised, or even tracking non-conformances as a business. Doing all of these is extremely difficult with pen and paper or spreadsheets. Getting lost in reams of data, or also as well as that, trying to find the correct document to look at. This is where you can really see the power of a connected digital risk management system. So platforms like Safety Culture can give you and your teams the tools and structure to create these behaviors in your working culture. Where your people, processes, and technology work together, in harmony to achieve your business objectives, instead of these becoming a burden to getting your job done. Now, you're probably thinking now, this is all well and good, but I have a lot on my plate, and where do I get started? So just like Rome wasn't built in a day, your journey to the perfect risk management solution won't be overnight. So with a lot of people that we work with, we recommend starting small. Let's review some common use cases and people that will optimize these to get started with. Could be a simple health and safety check that we do on a daily basis. Maybe it's tracking any action points or non-conformances that we have. How can these be easily adopted into a system that makes the workflow better, most importantly for our frontline user, but also as well for our admin or our data capturing on the back end, and having these learning opportunities for insights on what needs to be done better. So like any project, a little pre-planning will go a long way to make this a success. So some of the objectives and impact that we can look at is maybe identifying where we start, where the biggest need is. And the focus here must be first. So make sure our project is aligned to your overall business goals. So to get that support of everyone around you. So that stakeholder engagement, all that we've discussed from our frontline user to our manager level, all the way up to the director level within the business. So it must be a collective effort on how we can improve these processes, and also as well as that, make it valuable in terms of the insights we have and reducing that admin time on a day-to-day basis. So people to consider who'll be using the new system is, if you want to go faster, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And that is so true when it comes to improving that risk management approach or that implementation of a new risk management system. So figure out exactly who these are and what their needs are. So bringing everyone on board, as we said there, to drive that engagement earlier on and avoid the classic teething issues and challenges of many new IT systems. I think we've all been victim of a new process, a new IT system, or a new way of doing things, and that change management piece. This is vital to success in terms of how we can implement this new risk management system. So whether it's as simple as introducing it bit by bit or use case by use case, how is this going to benefit each user within the team? But also, as well as that, think about the data we need to get from the system. How does it report? And also as well, what stats do our leaders need to see in order to have that valuable insight which the system can provide? Finally, though, we need to think about your future. Might seem a long way off, but once you have control over what's going on today, tomorrow's challenges will come quicker than you think. Try to anticipate what you can and build towards that. So let's translate everything we've discussed there into some actionable processes, or as well as that, how improvement opportunities are everywhere. So with safety culture, the use cases are endless, or with any other risk management system. So you'll see here on the screen, if we take a quick glance at that list, does anything stick out to you? Are any of these relevant in your day-to-day? So why not get your teams across one small handful of these? Demonstrate your commitment to work with them to deliver the improvements they observe. Obviously, all of this can be done within safety culture, and we'd love to work with each and every one of you. But the key thing is to really choose a vendor with the experience and the ability to support you. So on the screen, you'll see a lot of risk management and compliance, along with health and safety management as well. So as a business or in your day-to-day, if any of these stick out to you, you need to find a system that works. That allows then for greater success, but also as well as that, you're working with the correct tools. So make sure there's lots of better systems out there. Some are better than others. So we'd encourage you to do your research and want to find you the best fit for your processes. In terms of that, just to recap in terms of the safety culture platform, it's a better way of working. So as a force for improvement in any organization. We know that risk management is a life or death importance, and we've built a reliable platform to do that. If you have a problem or opportunity you can take advantage of in your business, Our platform will empower workers to share insight and for leaders to easily pinpoint opportunities for improvement across the organization. What's unique about safety culture is the platform is built on a series of building blocks. So our inspections, our issues and tasks, or any other of those features that you see there, which can easily be configured to create an integrated business system for governance, risk management and compliance, operational excellence, and also as well, environmental health and safety. Our platform is mobile first, built for team collaboration, and includes the built intelligence to automate workflows and securely integrate in your business systems to scale your operation. We are in the cutting edge of the industry, and we are not slowing down. So you'll see from that slide some of the different various features that we have, whether that be incident management reporting from on the line staff, how easy this can be, but also as well as that, allowing our users to be enabled to our training feature as well. The opportunity with safety culture is endless. It just requires that one or two use cases to let us begin and see how we progress. Other workflows that we should be conscious of is there is other systems that we use outside of our day-to-day health and safety or risk management that we also need to look at. So that automation piece and workflows is so important to the safety culture API. As many of you on the call, I presume a lot of you will use different systems. So with that, we want to be able to extract that information. With safety culture, for example, we take all of our near miss hazard reporting and put that into transferable dashboards, whether that be Power BI or other systems that you currently use. Most importantly, that can be done seamlessly and having that integrated workflow enabled for the team. Other things to look at within the system, as well as that would be our lone worker and also our communications. So how can we track people's safety on the day-to-day basis if they are completing lone working out on site in remote locations? So with the safety culture platform, we can track that most importantly, our staff are safe. And if they run into any difficulties, they can be helped or enabled to complete those as quickly as possible. So with that, that is a small synopsis of what safety culture can do. Thank you for everyone that's joined in terms of today's call. I hope you found it useful and there is some appetite within your business to make changes. Our team of operation experts would love to speak to you and the challenges you face and support you to make the most of your improvement opportunities in front of you. So I really would recommend that you scan that QR code to fill out that form, and a member of the team will be in touch soon. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to any questions that we have from the audience.
Great, thanks, Liam. I came on a bit early there, didn't I? I didn't put you off the end of your presentation. So if anybody has any questions now for Liam, if you can use the Q&A on or the chat, and I can ask those. But we've got one question to start off with, Liam. And so you talked about making big changes. How can people make those changes more easily?
Adoption is something that's scary, or change is scary to everyone, and making that as easy as possible through really well-enabled staff. So whether that be a training call, a face-to-face toolbox talk, how we're going to use the system, and most importantly, what benefit this is going to have to the larger team. So with us here at Safety Culture, that implementation phase is so important, as we want all our staff enabled through face-to-face training or online training, that they're comfortable using the system and what exactly we need to extract in terms of data.
Great, thank you. It's a really comprehensive answer. It's such a big subject, isn't it? I suppose you could you could talk about it all day. So we've had another question here from Ahmed. Is the system compatible in import data from various and existing different sensors or instruments? I don't think I read that very well, but hopefully you got the gist of that question.
No, that's all good. And thanks, Ahmed, for the question. In terms of the system as well, we can have a look at an external source. So for example, on our last slide there, we saw the sensors piece. So for example, manufacturing space, if we have fridge freezers or temperature sensors that we need to pull information from, we can have that enabled within the safety culture system. So if a temperature goes above or below a certain degree, We want someone notified instantly. With that, it will trigger a notification from the safety culture system to go to the correct person, and we'd have instant visibility of what is at risk and what needs to be done as well. With instruments, it is something that we're looking at in terms of the asset management piece, in terms of telematics, and also as well as that working time of certain instruments or machinery that we have on site. And it is an area we're focusing on in the next couple of months as well. So I hope that answers your question, Ahmed, as well, quite comprehensively.
Great. Okay, so we've not got any more questions at the moment, so I give it a minute. Ahmed, hopefully that answered your question. If you can just pop yes in the chat box, that would be helpful. But I just wanted to ask you, Lim, are there any comments that you want to leave people with before we end today's presentation? Any tips or
Yeah.
additional
Definitely.
information?
One thing I would say is, again, there's lots of great systems out there, and it's about finding the right solution for you. It can seem like a daunting task, as any change is, but even starting small is the best step. Once you start, everything comes easier. So it might seem like a mammoth task if we're using pen and paper or Excel documents at the moment. Taking that one first step, you're already halfway there. And allowing that across the business, it will flow in time as well. That's a final parting thought, I think, for myself. And just taking that first step is so critical.
Great, thank you. Ahmed has said yes, you did answer his question, which is great. Just a couple of things to let people know. The recording for today's presentation will be on the IIRSM YouTube channel. I also wanted to let you know that from the 1st of October, our recordings will be held on the Member Resource Hub, which means only accessible to members. So we do welcome non-members at our events, but you will have to come to the live event if you'd like to see it. So thank you so much, Liam, for giving up your valuable time to present to us today. And thank you everyone for attending. I hope to see you at the next East Anglia branch webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Bye.